Hey engagement fans, welcome back to the Engagement Studio. I'm Dan Harris, a Workplace Insights Analyst here at Quantum Workplace, and today I'm going to be talking about engagement drivers. So with our typical engagement survey, we have two types of survey questions. First is engagement outcomes, and the second is typically cultural diagnostics. And so with engagement outcomes, those tap into the current state of engagement of your employees, or essentially the strength of their mental and emotional connection that they have with your workplace. But the important thing is that they're not really actionable in and of themselves. They're kind of the target that you want to change to either maintain or improve. And so how we know what to take action on are these cultural diagnostics. So these items are worded to be actionable, and they identify what to maintain or improve in terms of engagement outcomes and even of themselves. And so they influence and then they drive those outcomes. So one way to think about that is here we have kind of a core of engagement outcomes in the center, and around here we have all different kinds of cultural diagnostics. So we have manager effectiveness, leadership, perceptions of growth and development, individual needs, and so forth. So essentially all of those can potentially influence or otherwise drive engagement outcomes. And so the question is, well, how do we calculate that? How do we calculate which items most strongly drive those engagement outcomes? Well, first I want to show an example of an item that is not a driver of engagement. So we have overall engagement here from lower to higher, and then we have just an example item, my manager is effective. Again, from lower to higher. What we can see is that with each of these dots, which represents, say, an individual employee's perceptions, there's really no systematic relationship going on here. So this driver is calculated through correlation, or essentially the association or relationship between these two variables. And because there's really no systematic relationship going on here, we can't really say that it's driving engagement, because some individuals have pretty high perceptions that they're quite favorable about their manager being effective, but they're lower in terms of overall engagement. But then we also have the exact opposite, that we have some people who rate manager effectiveness quite low on the spectrum, but they're really high in overall engagement. So essentially, there's really no nice one-to-one relationship between these two. So we can essentially say with this, that this particular item of my manager is effective is not really a driver in this case of overall engagement. But when we have this kind of relationship, you can essentially see that it's much more of a line, is that rather than being all over the place, it's much more systematic. So we can be much more certain that if you're higher in terms of how you perceive the effectiveness of your manager, you're often much higher in terms of your overall engagement. So essentially, we can see that that is the relationship between these two particular variables, and that is the calculation that goes into engagement drivers. And so that's a wrap on engagement drivers. Now, we can go make work better every day. Thanks, everyone.